price and our fuel price going high. Now, if fuel price increases, what does that really mean? It means that most of our food is from the hinterlands and the other places that requires transportation. They will transport it at higher cost. They'll pass on the cost. They'll pass on to the cost the one who's buying it. So a market woman will actually arrange and pay higher. Then she will give it to the retailer who's selling to you at Manata. So she also has to actually pass on the cost to you. But let's not forget, already she's feeling the pinch from other areas because importation will be at a higher cost too. Because the goods you buy from outside the country would actually affect the woman. So if she has a child, she's buying food that is exported and imported, higher cost. She'll put all of the cost together, add it to that cost of product as she's selling to you. At the end of the day, you who is supposed to have received, let's say, minimum wage or increment of a 7% or whichever percentage, your money will dwindle along the line. And let's not forget, it will also spiral into you determining as a government worker to go into next year's negotiation sometime June, July, September, the negotiation for next year for pay increase with all of the factors. Why? Because it will affect inflation. Food is a major factor of inflation. Fuel is a major factor of inflation. Transportation is also another major factor of inflation. All of them will compound your inflation. Then you come back and have a conversation. You see, inflation is this way. So please give us higher money. If they don't give them the higher money, because government doesn't have money, they'll go and protest the workers and all of that. Again, for private institutions, it's either they meet up production, because cost of production will increase. You meet up production, increase the cost, or lay workers off. You may be in any of these categories. So it has spiraling effect on virtually every sector of the economy. You see how these people are discussing whether we will increase it or we will not increase it and all of that. If it continues in this path, which we understand until the Russian crisis and all of the other geopolitical wars are resolved and we come to a better exchange rate, at least for now, we'll still have some difficulties dealing with it. Immediately, government is telling us that the amount of money left in our price stabilization can no longer do the work it's supposed to do. That's why we brought it back, so that I can do more accumulation and use it in the future. Meaning, in the interim, we should not expect any price stabilization being lifted or suspended again, which gave us relief in November. We should not expect that. So the trend may continue for some time. If it continues on that path, it is one level of increase against another level of increase, all compounding into more difficult times for people in the country. And that is the reality that's coming in, and already people are feeling the pinch. That is what's going to make people get more angry about what's running the system and all of that. So that's where we are currently. And hopefully, I mean, some people are suggesting that since we budgeted $50 to $60 for our budget for crude, and because we export crude, people forget that.
So we make a lot of profits.
So we are going to make some money because now it's around 92. People are saying that do two things. That money that you make in the extra form,
the windfall profit.
Yes, that windfall profit, make sure that now you suspend or reduce some of the taxes and use that money to pay for it, so that you stop the inflationary effect immediately, which will compound and get into other effects in the future. That's what people are suggesting. It's up to government to look at all of these pictures. But you see, let's not forget, already we are in a terrible debt situation. A little bit of that debt also from the energy sector. So government may be thinking that this windfall should be used in clearing the debt rather, to give us some ease in engaging. So government's in a very tight corner too on what to do immediately. Instant relief, like doing what I just talked about, or look at how you are pushing it to reduce the debt so that it can have future effects on your current situation. Because reduction of debt means debt to GDP is on the lower side. It means that those who are saying currently that we are high risk of debt distress may revise their position on us. It means that rating agencies may look at that and say, oh, well, we can do better going into the future. So all of these are the questions that are before government. But at the micro level, it just sends a signal that we are in difficult times.
So when you talked about the increments that some public sector workers received, what they even got this year. I mean, most private people did not get it.
Well, that's the point, because I think many companies are still saying we have not recovered fully from COVID. In fact, the survey from the Statistical Service says that, in fact, about 2/3 of workers said we've not returned to our pre-COVID salary levels. So our income levels are not like what it used to be pre-COVID. And that sends you a signal. That means they've not been emboldened or straining to weather shocks shocks coming from fuel, shocks coming from all the other sectors, which will, if they had increments, if they had recovered, they could be able to sustain this more.
So you see, we don't all have that bargaining chip.
That's true too.
Because if you're doing somebody's private work, so some teachers are on strike, lecturers are on strike. Can you do that in a private university?
Well, they are more likely to say that, well, this school has 1,000, let's say 500 lecturers. If 50 of you want to leave, we can get others to try and teach in the interim. Can get MPhil students to fill in the gap, because they are looking at their balance sheet. That, you see, government is not supporting them, so they are looking at how much money is coming in from students' fees.
Yeah.
And if student fees are not enough, they're not going to say that we are increasing your pay. To the private man, one, if they are unable to stay in business, if they don't increase the cost of their product, the option available to them is, how do I reduce cost of production or production entirely? Human resource is a good way to reduce it.
Yeah. So the thing is, it plays out differently when you are a private person or a public person. So a lot of us private people are feeling it, and the effect is we're trying to manage.
Yeah. And you can't go and negotiate and say that my boss, as we all did the thing inside, increase the salary. He will tell you that, look at what we are doing. Look at our balance sheet. Look at what we are bringing in. Our revenues are not doing good enough. And for example, if they're also dependent on government contracts and all of that, and government's not paying contracts and all of that, it tells you that it's generally a difficult situation for many people.
And employers have a bit of comfort because they are not as worried about losing talent as they may have been in the past, because the unemployment situation is quite bad. People are very protective of their jobs, willing to work even if the conditions are not improved.
You're happy to get a job, actually. You're not necessarily looking at the salary.
And I'll tell you one thing. Look, the economy works in cycles. Everything is a cycle. Okay, so one of the reasons why we are made to understand that we've had this huge depreciation in the value of our city is because of the ratings from these ratings organizations, Moody's and Fitch and those people, so S&P. So basically, because of these adverse ratings, the value of our city is suffering because
we already had debt. We already had debt too.
But this is obviously it's obviously having an impact on it too. So because of this, the confidence in investment in our economy is also lower. All right, so we are seeing people repatriate their money, because they are not sure how the economy is going to go into the future, and so the value of the city is going down. But guess what? As the value of the city goes down, it makes our debt stock go up. Okay, because just automatically the amount of cities we need to go and clear our debt is more. Okay, so it's like a vicious cycle.
If we had bonds from outside, we could have actually gotten more dollars to shore up, so that the Bank of Ghana can pump in more dollars to stabilize the city a little bit. But if we not have those external euro bonds happening, it also affects stock of dollars instead of stock, so that we can use it to shore up the city. What we've been doing consistently as an interim measure.
So what we end up having to do is to go for more expensive borrowing options. A few days ago, we went for a 2-year bond of $1.08 billion at 19.75%, almost 20%, and we'll be paying this in 2 years' time.
Quite a short period, eh?
Yeah, this is not some long-term debt that we are securing. 2 years' time, we'll have to pay it back at almost 20%. So you see that. Unfortunately, the thing is just creating worse and worse macroeconomic situations for us, and the impact is being felt on the ground. I mean, think about it. Very soon, because of this, government is going to struggle to make payments. Guess what will suffer first? The power sector. Are we likely to start seeing doomso? Is that a possibility? What is the strategy of government to ensure we don't get to that point? Because obviously the political cost of doomso at this point is high. Are they thinking about it? What possible plan do they
There's
even
something
have?
that Ejapa was hinting at yesterday. He started from talking about the Nigerian supply difficulties. He talked about what Europe is also having their own difficulties. And he said government's preoccupation now is to ensure there's constant supply. There's a lot of things pregnant in that commentary. Priority, make sure that people have it, so that there's no problem with the supply, which will affect the power generation in other parts of the country and all of that.
So imagine all of these, what Raymond described, the headache that is going to be burdening every single, whether you are a supplier or a consumer in our economy. Everyone is going to feel this. Then you throw in the e-levy, if it gets passed by government. So now you understand why government has an uphill task convincing people to accept this new tax. We don't like tax already. Now you are bringing one that will apply every time someone is making a payment for things that are now even more expensive than they've ever been. Making payment using a CD that has a lower value than it's had in the past. So the pressures, and you see, like I said, it's a vicious cycle. So how does an economy recover from this? What's the plan? There are conversations to be had. But I want to know what you think about it. So why don't you call us, okay? 0302 216 541, or you can try 055 1111 997.
Are times really hard? Yeah, these times are hard.
Yeah, it's looking like a challenging year
Even for you.
The snacks that I buy from Makola, for instance, I mean, things,
For
the
the kids,
prices
right?
of, for the kids, and I buy in bulk. And I'm dreading because I have to go back. It's things are expensive.
For me, it's everything. It's everything, you know. 0302 216 541, 055 1111 997. Please call us. Are times really hard? How are they affecting you? What are the changes you have observed this year alone because of the changing economic situation? Part of it being the reduction of the value of our city. Rukaya is in Hachu. Rukaya, good morning.
Good morning, Kweju.
How are you?
By grace and blessed to yourself.
No, not bad at all.
Listening to the analysis, I was here yesterday when I was doing the same thing. I was like, it's a cycle, especially here in Accra. Because imagine I'm a wholesaler. I go and pick it up. If I bring it, I have to add whatever profit I want to make, plus my transportation cost, everything on it.
Yeah.
And then give it out to whoever is supposed to come to retail from me. So imagine this cycle. Let's even take from the farmers. Right from the farmer who is getting the chemicals or the seedlings, it's been increased. After he's done, he's told he's going to increase it. The trader who is buying it from him is increasing it. The one who is going to transport those goods is also increasing it. And so day in, day out, you buy a good today, you go to Monday, it's wants to be 50%. So yesterday I went out to go and buy, I wanted to buy sardine. Sardine I thought was false. The woman mentioned 5. I said, Ma'am, it's okay. Maybe we do an
Oh.
Nicodemus assemblyman. And I know it's false. They are telling me 5. Why do I get the ones to add to it? And so then you have to go out, you come back and you're doing calculations. What did I buy? How come the money has gotten to this level? Okay, tomorrow, what would I do? It's just unnecessary calculation, but yes, so you have to survive for the next day. Do our leaders even listening to us at all? I don't know, because they are comfortable, they feel it's everywhere. They should calm down. They should leave the top. Just dress anyhow and come. They don't know how it feels like to go out every day, your family relying on you. You come back and you have absolutely nothing in your hands. Even if you have kids. Someone wants to say something, a hungry stomach knows no excuse. It doesn't know you don't have money. All it requires, I must be fed. And it's the same with kids. How do you tell your kids that I don't have money to sleep in an empty stomach? It's not possible. And that's what our governments are doing to us. It's so sad. It's just so sad.
Rukaya, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Salom is in Jamestown. Hi, Salom. Good morning.
Right. Yesterday we created a scenario, and I responded. Is that also? The government appointee. He was the this thing he was talking. I expected you to. Is it saying that if I earn 20 Ghana cedis a day, I should stop sleeping with my wife? Was that the situation she was trying to create yesterday? I don't think it was right. Generally, you see, life in the country right now is becoming very hard. You see the whole thing. Everything keeps on increasing. Your salary remains at the same point. Are you getting it? These were the very people who, me, if you like, go back and play back 2016 before the elections. And the comments that I was making and everything was in favor of the NDP. Those times, nobody criticized me. These days, things are becoming hard again. And we are talking about reality. Some of them will categorize you here and there and there and there, but we are all feeling it. I don't know whether now we need to go and bring back the ghost of Adam Smith, those forefathers of economics, I get it, to come back now, because if the professor and the doctors of economics cannot do anything about your situation, I don't know where we are going now. It is real. It is better right now the government gets down to bring something real, not in books. Micro and macroeconomic, what does it mean to the ordinary Ghanaian going to buy kenke and fish? Please, my brother, have a nice day.
Have a good one too, Selom. Thanks for calling. Leonard is in Accra. Hi, Leonard. Good morning. Can you hear me? Oh, there you are. Hello, Leonard. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. And yourself?
Not bad at all. Thank you.
Okay. I've been listening to the program. I just want to ask a few questions. 5 years ago, before the free SHS or whatever that we have now came in, everything was moving on well. People were paying fees and everything. Now, what kind of pressure has the government put on itself? You bought free SHS. Now, where was the money that we're using to fund all of these things? Was it money that was already in the system that we're using that nothing was done? Now, look at how special we're putting ourselves. You came to do free SHS, and look at all the money that is going there. Already, we're paying taxes even before those times. Now, so I don't understand what is all going on in this country now. Everybody is suffering. Because you buy food now, the number of days that takes, it doesn't take you anymore. Your salary is not being increased. Before we're living, we're okay, even though things were tough, but at least something was going on, and there was so much pressure on government. Look at all those campaigns. I think you guys should start looking at them. Look at all these problems are coming from. For me, that is what I think. We're putting an unnecessary pressure on the system based on promises. Look at the money that the president himself is wasting and spending on all this. We should look at all of these things. Where the money that is paying, that where is it coming from? Is it the taxes that we are paying? Is that what we signed up from the beginning? You know, I think these are some of the unanswered questions on people's minds. Sometimes you just can't figure it out.
Yeah. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you so much for that. Papa Bisu is on the phone as well. Papa, good to hear you.
Yeah, Charlie, it's been a while, my brother.
It has. How
are you? My brother, fine, but not that far relative to what is happening in the country. I'm not that fine. You know, I always say that this government is not being fair to majority of suffering Ghanaians. Our resources that we also have to enjoy from, they are not giving it to us. That day in, day out, they are increasing it. And I'm talking relative to 3 oil fields that none of the past government ever had. We have Jubilee oil field, 10 oil fields, Sankofa oil field. All these oil fields are giving us a byproduct, which is gas, for free. For free, and another day in, day out, under his administration, increases in prices of LPG. Majority of suffering Ghanaians aren't able to really purchase it. And now you have also increased petrol prices. Petrol. Day in, day out. Why? Then you are trying to bring in e-levy. JM, that is His Excellency John Mahama went for IMF policy credibility to be able to get investors, potential investors, to come and invest in this country. That's why we had this Accra Digital Center that Otlausu, the communication minister, is saying that Accra Digital Center, they've employed over 15,000 youths. That is from IMF policy credibility of John Mahama. Terminal 3 at airport. That is the IMF policy credibility, which has employed a lot of people there.
Papa, thank you. Thank you for making that point. We appreciate you calling. Lawrence is in Kumasi. Hi, Lawrence. How are you?
Hi, hello.
I can see you are on the streets. What's up?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Lawrence. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I would want to make a contribution to your program.
Sure. Go ahead, Lawrence.
Yeah, my contribution is we all agree that things are not going on well in the country. The economy is not in good shape. things are hard. Price of goods have gone up, inflation are high, and the dollar rate is also high. That is, there's no denying that. But what solutions are we preparing to the government, especially those of us who are against the e-levy? Currently, the government is not doing well, so they need to mobilize revenue in order to embark on these projects and programs. And to them, the best way to do that is to introduce this new tax. I am for and at the same time against the e-levy. I am for the e-levy because I see it as the good way of roping in the informers, those who do not pay tax. Now, if you look at the tax components, it's almost like those of us in the formal sector. Always we are the one paying the tax. So how do we bring in? Always we've been talking about widening the tax net. So how do we do that? So I see this one as one of the best ways of widening the tax net to rope in the informal sector. I am against it because of the multiple charges. Like if I do multiple transactions in a day and I am paying the tax, if they could make it once. Let's say I make one transaction and I pay for it, the subsequent one I will not be charged. Then I think I will be for it. So let's not just complain and not oppose for opposition's sake. Let's give solutions, alternative ideas as to how we will be able to bring back our economy back to life. And secondly, with regard to the displacement of the city, we should all admit, so long as our economy is import dependent, like we depend mostly on goods from outside, certainly our currency will continue to depreciate. But one thing we must ask ourselves is, could it have been worse? Could it have been worse? So let's hope and pray. Let's try to maybe in the near future, the outlook of our economy will change. Maybe you produce more instead of depending on foreign goods. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. William, good old William from Gumwa Budubrum. William, how are you?
Good morning, Kojo.
Good morning to you.
I know. How are you?
We did.
Kojo, this issue, we cannot talk because, like, somebody will ask, whom am I? But I think the communists, when they will be speaking it to solve this problem or manage reduce imports. 3, we should but well, as I said, who am I? I'm not Dr. Professor Ignatius. So those of us who they don't listen to us there. Only thing I can tell them is that the odds against Kotoko is high. So it's obvious Kotoko will win us. So those of us that don't listen to us, let's stick against us. And I Mama, don't worry. Not too bad.
Yes, yeah.
Hi, good morning.
How are you, yeah?
God.
You nearly swept us there.
Pardon me?
You nearly swept us. We didn't realize it was you. How's everything?
Things are difficult, and I don't know. Politicians, they come with sweet words. They beg us for power. And when they come, they do the opposite. But when you get to the market, you notice every mosquito spray. I bought it to 21 cities. I went back to the market. It's 30 Ghana cities. Look, yes, it's 30 Ghana cities. So I'm coming to fight a mosquito where the MC has generated the gutter uncovered. I have to pay so much. 30,000. It is 30 Ghana cities. As for the kinky, now I can take 2, which is 6 Ghana cities. If I want to eat kinky, it's costing me 115 cities. The kids have not yet even entered. Kojo, things are difficult. Even those of this and NAPO, they've not paid them. You borrow for them to go and work, and then they'll keep sitting at home 8 months, 7 months, 12 months. You don't pay them. You go to the hospitals. You can't afford. The NHS, they give you paracetamol. Now they divide it to the 10, they'll give you 5. 5 pieces. Kojo. And we come and vote for these people. They don't even go to our hospitals. They don't even share anything in common with us. So when you say things are hard, they don't feel it. They don't just feel it. Who can know more? Things are hard, Okojo. Things are hard. Tell the government that things are hard. That's what the yield levy did. I pray that it will not come to pass. That yield levy, it will not come to pass because you've taken loans. You have so many. How can you? If you said you are going to use the yield levy to create what employment for what? If you close that you've created, you can't pay them, and the yield levy, how many people are you going to pay? So please tell them, our mouth is our gun. Tell them, it's too much. The hardship is too much. It is too much.
Auntie, thank you so much. Wow, she really put it in words there, didn't she? Daniel is all the way up in Tantra Hill. Hi, Daniel.
Good morning, Kojo.
Good morning, my brother.
Good analysis, but I want to draw your attention to something. And I think Mama V corrected that. Again, a comment was made that the president is hiring aircrafts because he wants to bath in the air.
No, that's not what we said.
I heard it clearly. You can play back.
Yeah, we know what we said. We didn't say that the president is hiring it because he wants to bath in the air. We didn't say that. We know what we said.
Well, you can play back and check. But the point is that comments like that takes the shine away from the objective analysis you are making. If you are beginning to sound like an NDC communicationist, then it puts it into a different dimension. Let's stay. You can't be neutral, I know, but let's stay objective and let's watch some of these comments. Again, on the times are hard argument, I appreciate all what everybody is saying. I feel it myself, but in order to give a holistic picture, let's add the COVID argument. Times are hard globally, and let's educate people and add that aspect as well. So we'll have a realistic and holistic argument. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for calling. Hamza is in Ashaiman. Hi, Hamza. Good morning.
Good morning, Kojo.
Thank you for calling, Hamza.
You're welcome. Thank you for the good work you are doing for Madagascar. Kojo, hey, are you very sure Swansea City will make it to the league next season?
Hamza, why are you doubting? Why are you doubting the glory of God in Swansea?
Hey, anyway, did you watch Barcelona yesterday? They were doing good, though.
They were all fall victim to Swansea. In Jesus' name.
Mama V, have to win, okay?
Oh.
We are winning 2-0.
Thank you, Hamza.
Anyway, Kojo.
Yes, sir.
In fact, serious. It's very serious. And one thing that pains me a lot is that the leaders currently, in fact, you admit and solve the problem. That is what a leader must do. But it seems that no, these are leaders. They don't see anything because they are okay. They are okay. They are eating. Look at loans, and then they are just spending the money. So they just don't care. As a leader, a responsible leader, you need to accept responsibility and deal with it. But these are current leaders. They are not. Times are hard. We understand. So the living of you, the leader, you should be an exemplary leader to your subjects. This is not. No. Do we have to serve the government, or the government supposed to serve the Ghanaians? Is that what? Which one? Because I'm asking, do we Ghanaians have to serve the leader, or the leader supposed to serve Ghanaians, the president?
Oh, obviously, your government is supposed to serve you, the people. You are their boss.
It looks like we are serving them. We ask for accountability. No, you were just spending the money to. Come on, because sometimes when I think of this, I get so frustrated to the extent that you won't even know what to do. Thank you, Kojo.
Thank you, Hamza, for calling. Let's talk to Isaac James. Good morning.
Good morning, KY. How are you?
I do. How is Abukobi this morning?
Yeah, we're enjoying God's blessings here.
Amen.
My regards to my neighbor, the ancestor.
Ah, yes. He's on leave. Today is his last day of leave.
KY,
after today, Asa.
I think that those that are saying government need money. That's why they want to take e-levy. I think the general knowledge is that we don't add salt to injury. Because of cost of living rising and Ghanaians really are in difficulty and you are not able to help the situation, you want to add salt to injury. It is not done. We are speaking against it because we are the same people who voted this government into power. And if you are doing something that is not right, we will tell them that it's not right. If they are doing the right things and we have to support the government, we will do that. But they are wasting money on unnecessary things and they want us to pay more. No, it doesn't work that way. Thank you very much, KY.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you so much for calling. Let's take one more call. John is in Laura. Hi, John.
Good morning, Brother Kojo.
Brother John,
Yes.
it's been over 2 years since I came to Laura. I miss you guys. How's everything?
Oh, by the grace of God, we are managing. We are peaceful in the name of Jesus. My brother.
Yes, sir.
Let me come into this matter. You see, in this life, things we say are hard by the NDC people. Will they performing then if Ghanaians put them off in the system? You see, my big brother, John Mahama, I think that he has learned his lessons so much. And then I don't think that President John Mahama is coming back to power again. Now, let's assume that Ghanaians give him the north. Will he come and perform magic? Absolutely no. We gave you the north. You said you can't manage the economy. You said Ghana should rethink about this matter. Now, let me come back to the minority in parliament. You people said that you will not allow the e-levy to pass. Fine, let's take it that it is not passed. Now, if Ghanaians all say that they should reduce the MP's salaries to 1,000 Ghana cedis, will they accept? You see, everything about the parliamentarians, they will not talk. They will not fight. They will not even quarrel. $28 million car load came. We didn't hear any fight. No more in the parliament. They took it. Now, what is better for me and you down there? The NDC in the minority parliament say that they will not accept. You see, in this life, the hypocrisy is too much. President Nana Akufo-Addo came because of the ordinary Ghanaian. Now, go to every Ghanaian home. Automatically, every Ghanaian home child is getting free education. If not because of this pandemic, the whole wide world, I don't think that Ghana would have been like this. I think that let us give the chance. The MPP have the men to do this job. You see, the NDC, I would say that I left them because of their propaganda. They will not tell the truth. I always say this, that if you are chasing the devil and the devil is managed to escape and you turn your back and see the NDC man, arrest that person. That person is the devil. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thanks for calling. Thanks to all of you who called us today. We value your views. Interesting though, right? A number of our callers asking government or questioning governments or the people in government, their detachment from the rest of the people. Auntie Ya really put it in the most eloquent manner when she talked about how they don't feel what we feel. Now this may be a perception, but I think it's worth asking, why is government not dealing with that perception, if even it is a perception, not a reality? Why are they not dealing with it? Why are they allowing that opinion to fester? And there are so many things that make that opinion, fester. For example,
commentary even from government officials, some of the things they say about what's supposed to be the reality on the ground and how it might be far removed from the reality. So that you ask yourself, is this person ever on the market with any other person?
Right.
Is it really responding to what's happening on the ground?
Fuel prices go up. Government officials don't have to pay for fuel. If it's more expensive to go to the hospital, as Antia was saying,
they are flown elsewhere.
We are seeing them being flown elsewhere. We see a certain insulation of the government official from the problems that the average Ghanaian is facing, and it's not a good look. Okay, so I wonder why we aren't seeing some visible demonstration just to show people that actually we are in it with you. Would that not even help with their arguments for things like the e-levy and other unpopular, things that Ghanaians seem to be unwilling to accept?
There's a slight point. Now, residents of Buckinghamshire in the UK, we know the difficulties in the UK now, cost of goods and other things going high. The mayor wrote to them, each person, a letter telling them that we know you have difficulties with fuel in the coming days. We are providing more buses. We know you have this other difficulty. We are improving that. We are making sure that we do not have to burden you with this and that and every other thing happening. I just wish, not even at the national level, district chief executives and the very people who are supposed to bring governance to the people closely will speak to them in ways that they can appreciate what's happening and tell them this is how best we are trying to fix the problem.
It's not a culture that we have. Have you seen that video? The Mongolian housing minister apparently made a promise that he was going to build 100,000 affordable homes by a certain period. The period passed and he had built 70,000. And this man set himself on fire at a press conference. Obviously, that's a ridiculous extreme. And even after he set himself on fire, he ended up in hospital with 40% burns to his body. So even that one cry, he didn't hit 100%. Thank goodness. But you see, the point is that there is a certain philosophy behind accountability. That is an extreme example. We don't want people burning themselves in Ghana. But we certainly want people to take a certain personal responsibility for the promises they made. And this idea that it's not my fault, it's COVID. It's not my fault, it's the what we had to do to save the banking sector. It's not my fault, it's free essay. I don't want to hear it's not my fault. I want to hear it's my responsibility to fix it.
I'm fixing it.
Yeah. Anyway, we have other conversations. We have the big one today, which is about the Tinder swindler. If you've watched it before, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't watched it before, I'll tell you about it and the big questions that it is raising after these messages.
Shake it.